I'm glad you joined me today. Here is the card that I'll be doing with you today in this tutorial, just kind of showing you the process of how to make these cards. Pretty little field of tulips. I think it's really cute. I varnished it and everything, so I'll talk a little bit about that during this tutorial. And years ago I had made some cards too, so I just want to give you and show these to you to kind of give you a couple of ideas about. I'm going to be doing some future tutorials with maybe some tropical scenes, different from these, but this is one I did years ago, and it is a little tropical scene, and very, very easy, simple paintings that anybody could paint. This is for beginners. This is just an easy little course. It's a wonderful gift of love when you make a homemade card. This is a fun little one with a pink flamingo, just a simple little scene. This one I think could, even children could participate in doing one like this, or any of these really. And here's another fun idea. I painted a beautiful little painting of the sandpipers on a rock, and it was a 24 by 36 painting that I sold. But I liked the painting so much that I had Vistaprint print it. Now the one thing that I did neglect doing is cropping it where my signature shows. I just want to recommend that if you ever do that with your paintings, make sure that you have your signature on there so that people know that this is your artwork. So this is a great idea. You can actually have these made postcards and then you can just put them in the mail like that. Or what I do is I put them in an envelope, because a lot of people, if they're getting something that's personalized, like a card of a painting that you painted, they'll more than likely want to, frame it or put it on the refrigerator or whatever. But it could get messed up if it's just sent like a postcard in the mail, but that's up to you, of course. But the nice thing I like about painting a painting like this, to have you send somebody a card, and what they can do with it is they can put it in a frame, and they will always have it, your piece of artwork, in their home, and every time they see it, they'll think of you. I think that's kind of nice. Here's another little idea. Now this would be a card that would flip up this way, but there's so many things that you can put on the cards, and so I have a lot of ideas about some cards that I'm going to be making in the future to share with you. You could just paint them as little small paintings, whatever you want to do, but I hope you join me for that. Thank you so much for joining me for this tutorial, and I hope you'll give me a thumbs up and subscribe and hit the bell for future notifications. Also, in the comments below, I'm sorry, I'm looking off camera again. I can't get used to this, but in the comments below, give me some ideas of maybe something you'd like to see in my next tutorials of card making or small paintings or any painting, whatever you want. So just kind of give me some ideas. I appreciate it, and tell me what you like, what you don't like about the tutorials I do as I do them. I appreciate the feedback. I'm just trying my best, and thank you so much. I appreciate you very much. I hope you enjoy this tutorial. So let's get painting. So here's a list of all the colors you'll need if you want to paint this particular card painting with me. And I'm taking the 3/4 inch flat brush and dampening it a bit, and then I'm mixing together the titanium white, ultramarine blue, and some of dioxin purple, and I'm alternating that with a mixture of the magenta and titanium white, and making a really bright, pretty sky. A little bit down closer to the horizon, I'm just mixing in a little bit of the cad yellow and the magenta and titanium white. And on the very bottom, we're just taking the white and the dioxin purple and bringing that all along the bottom of the card. Having the card taped off like this will give us a nice border at the end of the painting, so you don't have to worry at all about going out of the lines or anything like that. And here I've mixed in the violet with that dioxin purple and titanium white, and just sort of scuffling some or stippling some foliage, the look of foliage, in along that, completely along that purple section there on the bottom. So what I'm using here is a cardstock that's already made up from Michael's Art Supply, and you can buy them at Hobby Lobby, even at Staples. Cards already made that just ready to be painted on. Get a good hardstock, a mixed media paper, or you can just buy stock paper and then cut them into the shape of cards, whatever way you want. And then I'm using just basic acrylic paints here, and then later, after I get the paintings done, I go over them with a varnish and it seals it in. So these can be given to people as a thoughtful card, and they can actually frame that as a little painting if they want to, like I had mentioned at the beginning of the tutorial today. So here I'm just adding some clouds, and like I had put in a little footnote earlier, I really made the sky quite a bit brighter than I would have really wanted to. But I subdued it a little bit, and at the end of the tutorial I ask you your opinion on if you liked it with the brighter sky. After I did mess around with the sky a little bit, I sort of liked it. It kind of gave me the impression of like some of the Van Gogh paintings. His skies were a little bit crazy, some of them, and that's what it looked like to me, which for some reason it appealed to me. It won't appeal to everyone, that's for sure, but I hope you like it, and I hope you like what you're painting. More importantly, what you paint on your cards is what's important. So I'm just sort of using a blender brush here to just sort of smooth out those colors and blend them a little bit. Just remember, never give up. And because at one point during the sky, I was like, I think I'm just going to start over. This has gotten too crazy, but I didn't give up. Now here I'm taking a little bit of Mars Black and Dioxin Purple, mixing them together, and just putting a little bit of twigs back there, just basically some bushes without flowers on them for background interest. And here we're going to just add some basic tulip shapes, and we'll add details as we go along, but just some basic tulip shapes using a Cad red medium hue, and the magenta, the light magenta, and titanium white. And as you put one tulip shape in front of the other, have the colors a little bit different so that you see that there's two different flowers there. And so add just as many of these tulip shapes as you want on your painting, so it's just like a little field of tulips. And make some light, make some dark, and then just add a little bit of here I'm just adding a little bit of the darker magenta color in the middle just for some texture on those tulips, and just going to add some details now. It really looks so strange until we get the the stems and the leaves on the tulips, but I'm just adding a little titanium white and some cad yellow on the bottom of the tulip shapes, just for some details on the flowers. So just play around with it. You can put any color tulip. It's amazing how many different color tulips grow in. And you see that sky is crazy at this point. I do subdue it quite a bit later on in the tutorial. And here we're going to put some stems. I'm using phthalo green and titanium white and a little bit of cad yellow. And I make the stems a little lighter, and then I darken up. I add some leaves. I do apologize that for a portion of this my head was in the way, and I tried to crop it out, but so I couldn't at this point. So as you can see, my gray crown kept showing. So anyway, I had to leave that part out, but basically all you missed there was the stems and the leaves in the green. I added a little bit of the darker green there too, just to make the leaves coming off of all the stems just go in every different directions, a couple of leaves on each stem. And then I took some cad yellow and titanium white here on a little fan brush, and I'm just sort of putting some highlights on the light side of the leaves and of the stems. So just continue adding some color, and here I added a little more titanium white to that mixture of the green and the yellow, and I'm just highlighting a little bit more so that they stand out a bit, and just play around with it until you feel good about it. So adding a little bit of the cad yellow and the titanium white to the bottom of the tulips I thought was really pretty and helped them to stand out. And so that I'm doing all this with a small detail brush, just kind of adding in between the different leaves on the tulips. And here I'm taking some white and mixed in with a little bit of the pink and the blue, and I'm kind of going back and forth with those different colors just to subdue that crazy sky, and just blending all of that together a little bit more. Just always remember, never give up, just keep going. Now here I've taken that magenta color and titanium white, and I'm just adding some little impression of flowers, just some little indications of some flowering buds back there, of just some small wildflowers. Just take the tip of your brush and just put them wherever you want. And then I went back and got some Dioxin purple, and I'm doing the same thing, just all in and around, just adding some the indication of little flowering wildflowers all along that back area. And here I am just taking some titanium white with the magenta and putting some highlights on the different petals of the flowers, and again working on subduing that sky a little bit more. Have you ever seen that Van Gogh painting? I think it's the one called like a wheat field or something like that. Field of wheat. Well, right now the sky is reminding me of that painting. It's just like really puffy, crazy little cumulus clouds all mingled together with these bright colors in between the clouds. But check it out. I think you'll see what I mean. I think it was called the wheat fields. Here we go. Now we're going to pull that tape off and reveal the card. And that's the fun part. Doesn't that look cute? And now you have yourself a homemade card that you can share with anybody. And here I'm just going to add a few more finishing touches. So I'm mostly using just a little detail brush, and I'm just making some more details. Here I'm signing my name, but just adding some details to the little wildflowers in the background and along the grasses, and then again in the sky. And I do subdue the sky quite a bit more. I am interested to know at the end when I put the wild sky picture. Actually, I'm making it even wilder at this point. And then you'll see that it gets a bit wilder, and then it gets more subdued. So I'm just letting you see the whole process. I hope you enjoy this. Maybe it'll help you as you're painting, and to realize that you just keep going with it and just add and stand back and look at your little card and say, I need to subdue that. I need to make that a little brighter. And just don't give up. Just keep going at it, and you'll end up. I ended up liking my card. So, but at the end, I put the two together: the more subdued version, which is the finished version, and then soon you'll see the one with the very, very colorful sky, and which is actually my favorite. But let me know what you think, okay? And don't worry about hurting my feelings. So this is the card at its wildest before I subdued the sky, but that's what it looks like, and I kind of like it. So here now I am taking my scuffle brush, which is a deerfoot, and I'm adding the blues, and then I go and I add some pink and some white and just sort of blend them all together. And then I'm almost done with my card. So if you go to the art supply stores and buy yourself a package of already made cards, just make sure that it's the mixed media and it's a good stock, like a firm card. And because my advice is that after you paint them, and some may not agree with this, but it works for me, and maybe it'll work for you, but I like to varnish that because then it's protected, and like I said, your friends can frame the card if they want to, and also even if they don't, and it just goes in a little card box with all the other cards people accumulate over the years, it'll be protected. So here I'm just making sure those edges are really nice and clean, and the details go right up to the edge, because those are areas that I had maybe bumped a little bit because I had already removed the tape from the sides. that we're keeping the borders clean. And whatever the color of the cardstock is, like if it's a, a pure white, which mine is, or a creamy white, just make it matched as best you can and kind of go along the edges on the outside there to make sure that you didn't, no areas of the paint had bled onto it. Like here, I'm just kind of going along the edge to make sure that it's nice and clean on those edges, and where I may have accidentally bumped the paint there. So here we are. Now I'm done with the card, and it looks pretty this way too, but I personally liked the wilder sky. So here I write that I think I like it better before I tame the sky. What do you think? So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and leave in the comment your opinion of this and what you'd like to see painted in the future. I look forward to painting again with you. So thanks so much. Please like and subscribe and hit the bell for upcoming tutorials. Thanks again, folks. Take care. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining me for the making of the cards. I look forward to making more with you in the future. The next one's going to be a tropical scene, so stay tuned. Hit that bell for notifications. We'll see you in the next one. Bye. Take care.